Hello everyone, welcome to Brice's Beats today. Today I am interviewing Bob Mayo from my university, and before we start with questions, let's have him have an introduction of himself and what he does.
I'm Bob Mayo. I'm currently a professor of audio engineering at Union University here in Jackson. I've been there about 5 years, almost 5 years. Crazy, it's going by fast. Live here in Jackson, I live in Jackson with my wife. I teach audio engineering. I also direct two bluegrass ensembles. We do bluegrass music. They're commercial inside the commercial program. I teach music history, which is one of Brice's favorite topics.
Yep.
We've made some trips together, haven't we?
Yeah.
Some shows. And I teach just general music business courses, and I teach master's classes as well for our online program. So yeah.
So first question, how did you get in the music industry?
Wow. Well, I was born into music. Okay. My entire family played music on both sides, and so when I was born, I was born into that. Maybe not the industry, but I was born into that music. Life. My father played music in the 50s here in Jackson Bay, and I actually recorded a record in Jackson in 1956 or 7. But anyway, grew up playing music with my father, and my brothers all played too as well. And then decided after high school to go to MTSU in Murfreesboro, Middle Tennessee State. They were one of the few state schools that actually had a recording engineering program, a music business program. Not many had those back then, like they do now. So graduated from there. Luckily, through internships from MTSU, I was able to get some really good internships in Nashville because we're only 30 minutes away. And I was already working before I graduated, actually. Had a job and working in music publishing as a recording engineer, being around songwriters, meeting songwriters, and that was so much fun getting to record, brand new songs that just been written by writers who had written a lot of hits. And did that for a while, and went into touring. I played as a guitar player on the road with different artists. I also was a tech, for example, with artist Clint Black and others. Toured quite a bit, and then I kind of took a little bit of a break. I started having kids, and I didn't want to tour and be gone all the time, and so kind of took a little bit of a bypass from business full time in 1989 or 90 time frame. But I still work remotely from my home studio here in Jackson. Moved back to Jackson and worked at Pottery and Gamble for 25 years. Retired from there, now I'm at Union. And I'm able to now, once again, fully immerse myself in the music business from a different perspective.
And that I've learned from so many, Union, a lot of things that Union has is, to me, a very good music program too.
They do.
A very good music program.
Thank you, and I agree. I think we have a great balance of faith integration into the music industry. There's jobs in both secular and in the worship field. But it doesn't mean because you're doing secular music doesn't mean that you don't have to be a Christian, right? It's very important to have Christians in that business, and so I agree. I think all of our departments, whether it's music education or it's worship or commercial music or perform, whatever, I think they do. I think we have a really good, solid program over there.
So on to the next question. Who did you work with in the music industry, which you kind of said Clint Black, but go into further detail of that.
Started out, like I said, working with songwriters, guys like John Vesner and Don Henry. John Vesner wrote a really big hit for Kathy Mattea called "Where Have You Been?" It was a really big hit. Working with them, initially, mostly songwriters. I've worked with the great songwriter Win Varble, who's written "Waiting on a Woman" by Brad Paisley. Friends, I've worked with a guy named Dave Gibson from the Gibson Miller Band. Great songwriter. He's written a bunch of hits. Dave and I had a band together for a while. Worked with him. Daryl Singletary, who was passed away a few years ago, but great voice, right? Great deep country voice.
Oh yeah.
Worked with him in the studio quite a bit as he was developing himself. Randy Travis.
Oh yeah, Randy Travis.
A little bit with Highway 101. I played in a band it was a hybrid of Highway 101, a pretty famous band in the 80s in Nashville. We played in a side band and played for a while. I've worked with Clint Black on the road. And Lisa Stewart, a lady that I played guitar with. She was on B&A Records. Yeah, and several others. So.
Now, Lisa Stewart, was she country?
She was.
She was country.
Yeah, Lisa had an album, had a couple albums out on B&A, which was a division of RCA back then.
Oh yeah, RCA, that's big.
And and she's also an actress. She's been in the Vampire Diaries, Country Strong, I think, and she's in movies. Yeah, she's fantastic. Yeah.
So, what was your experience like working with Clint Black? I just want to go back to Clint Black. I know you told me he was really good working with you.
Absolutely, yeah. Great guy, a great crew. I did backline tech, which is basically I'm the guy on the road who sits above the guitars and the drums and taking care of them and restringing guitars and whatever needed to be done. Clint was very good, a perfectionist.
He was.
If we did a show and if there was one light bulb that was in one of the lighting cans that was dim, he would notice it and say, "Hey, can you get that light fixed?"
Well,
good.
And you told me you stopped. When did you stop working with Clint Black? You told me what year you started.
About 95, 96, something like that. Actually, I was working with a management company called Marest, Nanis, and Shea, and Marest, three guys. And they managed different artists, and Clint Black was one of them. So I worked with several of their artists.
Oh, yeah.
Lisa Stewart was one of their artists, Gibson Miller Band.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What you told me, Clint Black was a very down-to-earth person.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, you could... when you're working with an artist every day, you have to interact with them.
Oh yes, you got to.
And
that's the way the music industry is, but it has changed a lot. But I feel like you have to have a good connection with the singer too, and not just.
Well, yeah, you're making sure that they're happy. You're making sure that they don't have anything to worry about. And you anticipate things. You make sure that their guitars are tuned. You make sure that they're. And they appreciate that because they don't have to worry about those things. They can just perform.
Oh, yes.
And my job was to make sure that he was free to do what he was there to do, and it was entertain.
Oh, yes. Performance is I think making it right is always the correct thing to do,
Yeah, I mean, you've got people who are buying tickets, and the tickets aren't cheap.
Oh, no.
And our job, really and truly, our job as performers is to entertain people. If we don't have people to entertain, then guess what? We don't have a job. Right?
No music job, yeah.
And it's not all of it, but it's certainly in the entertainment business, we entertain, and we have to do what try to make the people happy. So pay money.
So on to the next question. What tips do you have how to make it in the music industry / business?
Okay, good question. I think there's three things I think that are important for a young person who are, if they're thinking about going into the music industry. First and foremost, before I even say what those three things are, the music industry is a people business. Relationships are very, very important, and that's probably true in a lot of different jobs.
Oh yes,
right.
Oh yeah.
Like it's your job. I mean, if you're somebody who people really don't like to be around, you may not have a job there very long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you will, but
yeah.
So people, it's a relationship business. And so the three things that I tell students, and my own son actually, we had this discussion a few months ago, because he's in the music industry right now.
Oh yes.
Living in Nashville. You got to have, of course, you got to have the talent. All right, it's important, and it's important that we hone our skills, because talent's really not enough. We want to be good. And number two, that we're good people.
Yes.
Good human beings. Somebody who people want to be around, right? Because if you can imagine, let's say that you're on a tour bus with 11 other people on the bus. That's a pretty tight space. to be for months and months at a time, right?
Yes, it
If
is.
you got somebody on the bus who's kind of hard to deal with, or they're just not pleasant to be around, that makes for a very miserable experience for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So be somebody that people want to have in the room, that they bring the room up, they make people happy.
Mm-hmm.
But the third thing too is being at the right place in the location at the right time.
Oh yes, that's a
Position
very.
yourself in a place to where you've got the other things, you've got the talent, you've got the good attitude, and now I'm in a place to where lightning can strike or God can work. I can be in that place. So, and that is probably the hardest part, is getting in a place, and finding a place to be, like for example in Nashville. But again, it goes back to meeting people. Internships are so critical for students.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're in that internship, it may not pay much money, but you're meeting people.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those are my three things: good attitude, skill, and being in the right place at the right time.
Oh yeah, and I saw last night where Gavin Coker, how'd he do in his recital?
Gavin did fantastic. Gavin is one of those young men who, you have what's expected. He goes above and beyond.
Oh yes.
And that is what will really, and that's another great thing to tell people is, when you're a young person and you're trying to get your foot in the door, if the call is 10 o'clock, you're there at 9.
Yeah.
Okay. You show up, you're early, you have a good attitude, you stay late. Gavin does those things.
Oh yes.
He's very detailed.
And I remember when Gavin first started, when I was a sophomore, he was getting really, really good.
Well, every time I would look in the calendar in the studio, his name is in there.
Oh yeah, he puts a lot of work into it.
A lot of work, but he loves it.
Oh yeah.
And you have to love it really to work at it that hard, right?
Oh yeah.
And people love to be around Gavin, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he has all those things. He has the attitude, he has the skill, and he is also, I believe he's looking at some possible employment looks like it's going to be pretty solid for him already. So he's he's already got some job opportunities.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So the next question is, share some music stories you've told me before.
Okay. Oh boy. Let me think. One that I can tell you. Oh yeah, I can tell you one. And it won't involve anybody.
Yeah.
No, I was working at a small studio in Nashville, Rinsong. It's a great place. It was a publishing company. It had really great writers.
Okay.
And a small little 16-track analog tape studio. This was 1989. And I was still in college, actually. And the main engineer who worked there most of the time that I was kind of working under, his assistant, he called me one night and said, "Hey, I've got a session tomorrow. It's just a guitar, vocal, writer demo thing. You want to do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think I can handle that." I'm all excited, So I get there early, even though it was just going to be a small little thing, but I was there early making sure that, everything was working. And I'm sitting in the control room there, and a truck pulls up to the back door. It's cartage. The cartage guys bring the musicians' gear to the studio for them.
Oh yeah.
A truck backs up and it's deep, 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 and they're bringing in these drums into the studio, and I'm kind of watching like, well, maybe this is for a session that's later in the day. This isn't mine. It's somebody else's session. The truck pulls up and they're unloading Brent Mason, who is the A-list guitar player in Nashville, his gear, rolling it in, and I'm like, wow. So I happened to ask one of the cartage guys, "So what session is this for?" He said, "It's for the 10 o'clock in an hour." I'm like, what? So I had to, on the spot, start thinking about how am I going to record these. And these guys were the top dog players. And I'm still in college. And it's for an artist named Holly Dunn. Holly had several records out. It was for her to come in and do some demos. I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
I was running around, trying to figure, because it was a small space. I had to figure out where to put, he had steel guitar.
Oh yeah.
Sonny Garish, who's a great player. Glenn Worf on bass. Glenn's played on countless big albums. Lonnie Wilson on drums. Of course, Brent Mason, who is the guy in Nashville. And Harley Dunn, who's an artist. I was like, oh. But, and her producer walks in. And he says, where is the other guy? His name was Bob too.
Yeah.
Where's Bob at? And I'm like, he said, I mean the other Bob. I'm like, he's in a session down the street. He's like, well, who's running the session? I was like, well, me. He said, who are you again? What do you do? So he said, who do you work with? And I'm like, well, I'm still in college. And his face kind of got red. He was like, well, okay, can you do this? And I was like, well, we're going to find out. So we recorded 5 songs.
Mm-hmm.
5, and back in Nashville, you record 5 complete songs, usually in 5 hours. That's drums, bass, and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they don't mess around. So that was a learning experience. I made a few mistakes that day, but they're mistakes that I would learn from. And I met some people, but it was ended up being good. But at first, I was very, very nervous. I wasn't expecting that. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I was totally the opposite of what I thought I was going to be doing that day.
Yeah. So that artist you did it for, she became pretty big, didn't she?
Holly Dunn, absolutely.
Yeah, she became very
She passed
big.
away a few years ago from cancer, but she had a song called Daddy's Hands.
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, one of the songs that we recorded that day in the studio is a song called You Really Had Me Going. It's a very famous 2-step song. That song actually made it on the record. The actual tracks I recorded made it on her final record.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool, too.
Yeah, so here's the next question. Favorite music artist you grew up on?
Well, that's always a hard question to answer.
Oh, yeah.
But I think probably the one band that meant the most to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my father's band was certainly important.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as an artist, have to be the band Rush.
Oh, yes.
As a young man, in probably a sophomore in high school, I was kind of looking for some music to kind of increase my abilities, my chops, as we call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was learning about some different kinds of music. And when I heard Rush, I was like, wow, there's a lot of notes.
Oh, yes,
A
right.
lot of bass notes, a lot of drums. So I got a lot of things I can learn and this music that can really help me. So I really became a big Rush fan. I've seen them in concert probably 12 times.
Yeah, and Rush is coming back, I think, right?
They have. They've got a
new drummer, right?
Yeah, Neil Peart passed away a few years back. That was a crushing blow
Yep.
to all of us Rush fans. But yeah, her name was Annika. I can't think of her last name, but she's a great drummer, and so they're back on the road again.
Yeah.
And so that's very good.
And Rush, which my next door neighbor's a big fan of Rush, but I tell you this, I told him one time, I was like, it is so hard to play Tom Sawyer on the drums. It really is.
It really is. And that's one of the easier ones. Well, I say easier ones, it's not one of the easier ones. That's one of the ones that maybe in Neil Peart's repertoire is one of the ones that maybe not as crazy as the other ones.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a middle section that's really hard to play.
And honestly, Geddy Lee is probably one of the most underrated bass guitar players of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And I know some people say they like him, they don't like him, but I think he's a phenomenal bass guitar player, and his vocal range is really good.
Yeah, I think what people have to get used to is his voice.
His voice is
high.
It is very high.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
Right? But no doubt that his bass playing is, and plus, he was playing bass live and also playing foot pedals with his feet.
Oh, yeah.
Singing at the same time.
Yeah, that is that. So up to the next question. How this is kind of a controversial question, but how can AI deceive us on music platforms that is not real music or real vocals? Mm-hmm.
That's a great question. The whole AI thing. It reminds me of, if you go back into the early mid-'80s when sampling was coming out, when people were sampling people's records, a lot of the R&B artists around were doing that, and everybody kind of freaked out. They were like, how are we gonna, how will this work? How are we gonna be able to get paid for these things? And this current period of time now, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. I think it's a whole lot more complicated than sampling. The AI thing, it's here.
Oh yeah.
Okay? We're not going to be able to. I don't think it's going to go away.
Oh no. Mm-hmm.
And so I think the challenge for us now is to figure out how to navigate in a way that people whose material may be being taken and from an AI standpoint, they're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And there's also, it's interesting, the lawmakers are looking at this thing, and right now they're saying, well, we don't really have, I think the copyright law is sufficient for this, but here's the interesting thing. The AI developers are also wanting protection.
Yes.
For their AI creation. So you've got both sides of the coin. You've got the AI developers who, if they make an AI band, they want to make money off of that.
Oh yeah.
But, it's interesting.
It's been a very talked about question.
Oh, no doubt about it. And I think that we're going to have to figure it out because it's changing so fast. I mean, it really hasn't been, from a music standpoint, it's really come on strong the last year and a half. We're just getting started. We don't know what's going to happen in a year from now.
Yeah, we don't know. And why I thought about this question was there was this band that my coworker told me about. I said, look up, they did some Borderland Fever and something this. I said, that's AI because the video was AI, the vocals AI. It sounded all AI. I was like, that's AI.
But you can tell, right?
I could tell because the vocals were very auto-tuned. I don't know how I would say it, but it was crazy.
So I think right now, and here's my point too. If you tell me that this band is AI, and it's all AI, then okay, I know what it is. And if that's what you want to do, if people want to buy that material, I guess it's their business, right?
Oh yes, it is.
But when you try to put it out and you say it's not AI, but it is, then that's misrepresentation. That's not being honest, right?
Yeah, and another question to follow up with the AI question. So, do you think it's right to have, for instance, Randy Travis had a song come out a few years ago, and I thought it was him, but it was AI. What do you think about that?
As long as, if Randy knows about it, because I think his producer, put it out. As long as I know ahead of time that what I'm consuming, what I'm buying, what I'm streaming is, if I know that it's AI and I listen to it, then I know what it is, right?
Oh, yes.
I don't really have as much problem with that from a consumer misleading folks standpoint. But what I will say is this. I think the big worry with a lot of musicians now is the fact that AI can there's a fear that AI can take the place of the humans in the music business.
Yeah.
And same for acting. I've already seen some people in the Actors Guild who were concerned about their likeness being used in movies.
Yeah.
And also AI creating new people that don't even exist doing movies. That takes away work from humans.
Oh, yeah.
I think that is one of the big fears, I know from the musician side of things. It's like, wow, because it's really good. I've heard AI songs where somebody took a guitar and a vocal, just a simple song, put it in Sunos, and then it comes out with a full demo. That's what scares people, I think, is like, wow, they're going to take my job.
Yeah, and which a lot of the industry jobs, the industry, I think a lot of the creativity in music with AI can be a very, it's not really sketchy thing, but troubling because people will get lazy and don't want to create their.
Yep.
I think that's the biggest fear too, with that whole musician and actors guild and all that. Yes.
I do, and I agree. I think my hope is that, speaking from somebody who creates music, a lot of us get a joy, a pleasure out of creating something. We really do. And my hope and prayer is that, like you said, over time, that we don't get to where we aren't creative anymore. But I think right now, people are still, most of us really get a satisfaction out of doing our shit because it comes from us. Now, AI can be a tool that we use to get there.
Yeah.
That's a whole different conversation.
Oh, that's a whole different conversation.
And being using as a tool to help me into something, but it's to save time or whatever. But I think from a creative standpoint, my hope and my prayer is that creators still want to create.
Yeah, to create and go into the studio and record.
Now, you know what the number one reason why we wouldn't do that would be for money, right?
Oh, for
Quick
money. For money.
But
yes.
I hope that we stay in that mode.
Yeah, because I've just, back, this is a funny story I gotta share. Back years ago, my neighbor had a music playlist on his TV, my next door neighbor, and it was called Kevin's Music List. So he was looking for all the songs, and all the songs were like auto-tune generated, like all these kind of like the same old breakup songs. So I feel like we're kind of moving towards more like not really happy songs, but kind of like the same old theme and the same old stuff. So what do you think about that?
Well, if you look back in history, Brice, and you see trends, there's always seems to be eventually a counter revolt or revolt to the current, like a revolution. So, like if you have a really high tech age, then it's not uncommon to have an age of un-high tech.
Oh yes,
That's because we get tired of something, right? So we want to go the opposite direction.
Oh yeah.
Like in country, we're seeing some change now happen. We went to a phase of country music where it was, the song ideas were, pretty homogenous, or all the same. Now we're seeing it go back to kind of the 90s style again.
Oh yes.
We see it ebb and flow in all genres of music, I think. So
yeah, and I want to talk a little quick another question. It's actually not on my paper I wrote down, but talk about Steve Marcantonio, because I know he done some stuff in the country music.
Oh, absolutely, he has.
Yeah.
Steve is a fantastic. He's iconic. I mean, in my opinion, he came to Nashville in I guess the late '80s. I think one of his first biggest albums he worked on, I think, in Nashville was Roseanne Cash's King's Record Shop, and he's worked with, everybody.
Now there was I'm good friends with him too since I got to know him for you. But didn't he record John Lennon? Or
he worked with John Lennon in the record plant.
Yeah, record plant.
Not long before, unfortunately, John passed.
Passed, yes.
And got to know John. Very well. I don't know the extent of the work he did, but I know that I believe John was recording at the record plant, maybe recording a solo album.
A solo album, yeah.
And Steve was working there at the time.
Which Steve Marcantonio he has done a lot of good stuff here these past few years for Union, like coming down and doing recording sessions, which I was part of one of those. It was very good.
We've done two sessions at Blackbird with Steve. He's been very generous to our students, and with his time and his, he's one of these guys who wants to give back and to the younger folks and teach and hand us. We all want to do that, I guess. We all want to, see what we do continue. And Steve has a heart for people. He loves people. He loves young people, and he's been a great partner for us. And we're trying to plan some more work with Steve as well. Maybe come down to us or go up there again. But yeah, he's fantastic. Steve's great.
Fantastic. Okay, so the next question is, how is it different from recording the song now versus the old school years of music?
You mean like from analog tape?
Yeah, analog tape to like just how there's different styles from like a band recording in the studio than not many people do the full band sessions.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, the technology was what forced that. If you go way back to the days of recording a group to, a record live, in the old days, you had to do it that way. You only got one chance, right? So you would have all the musicians in the room, and you'd have them placed in the room in a way that you could hear everybody, and that took a little bit of time. And then as people like Les Paul came on the scene, Les Paul is known for what? The guitar, right?
Oh yeah,
that was just one of many inventions. We credit Les Paul as really the father of multi-track recording.
Oh yeah, he was one of the. He was the founding of it.
Yeah, he started with going sound on sound between, and then he went into 2-track, 3-track, 4-track, 8-track, and he really pushed. So as we got more into, we have more tracks now. Now we have some options, right? We can record a band on 4 tracks, and maybe come back and do vocals on the other tracks. And then as you go into the '70s, where we had 16-track and then subsequently 24, yeah, there was a special vibe that you get. There is a special vibe that you get when you have a live band.
Oh, yes.
Like drums, bass, guitars, doing what we call basic rhythm tracking.
Oh, yes, basic rhythm tracking, yeah.
Yeah, and you get that vibe, that live band sound, right?
And
it's very special.
and really honestly, when I first came to Union, you didn't know what to expect, and I will say that recording studio has become pretty handy over the years.
It has. My goal when I came here was to use Nashville as our model. What Nashville? Now we're not nearly as big as.
Oh no.
No, right? But
No.
but what we wanted to create there was a microcosm of what you may see if you walk into a studio in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I really wanted us to be able to teach the Nashville style of recording, which is if you walk in, let's say for example, a country artist is recording an album in Ocean Way or Blackbird or whatever, they're going to have live band, drums, bass guitar over here, acoustic guitar player maybe even fiddle laying down on the track,
fiddle.
and steel guitar and electric guitar, and they're going to sit there and track a song right there and then do overdubs, and what I wanted to have there at Union was, even though it was just two classrooms that were side by side that we tried to convert over, we still wanted to have space to record. As a matter of fact, we recorded last Saturday with a student.
I saw that.
I got to go in and play bass. It was a lot of fun. It was just drums. We had piano. We had electric guitar player, acoustic guitar player in the booth, and we were doing kind of what Nashville does. And that's record a live session. That's why Nashville music is so good.
Oh yeah.
But let me say this. In today's world of the DAW and the technology, there's nothing also wrong with you sitting in your room and making music with a few people.
Yes, and I know an example of a modern singer that does that is Billie Eilish. I think she does a lot of her recording.
And her brother.
And her brother, yes.
Yeah, and that's a blessing because in the years past I couldn't have a 16-track tape machine in my bedroom.
Yeah.
I could, but it'd be very expensive.
Oh yes.
I have a console. Nowadays you can sit on your couch and start creating music, and that is, and so we don't want to knock that out because that is a viable thing.
No.
It's all about the number one thing, Brice, to think about is what does the song need?
Oh yes.
Does the song need a live band? Does the song need MIDI and just a one person type of thing, a 2-person type of thing?
Yeah, I think honestly, so let's talk about I'm going to talk about your bluegrass. So how did you get into playing bluegrass? I'm just curious.
Oh, I was raised on bluegrass.
You were raised on bluegrass. I know your father was a good musician.
Fantastic banjo player. Fantastic. I think my father was he was I think he was very, very good. I was raised, my father's family they lived up in Michigan. Most of them did, and they all played bluegrass. It just so happens they all lived in Kalamazoo, which is where the Gibson factory was.
Oh yeah.
And I lived there for a year. I was 4 years old actually. My dad, my family. But no, I was raised on bluegrass. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. As a young man growing up, as a teenager, I was like, I don't know about this bluegrass stuff. It just ain't my thing. I want to be rock and roll, right? And so I kind of steered away from it. Being a rebellious young teenager lad. Doing that whole thing.
Yeah.
But as I became a little more mature and as an adult, I started to realize and hear that music differently. And so I come to Union and we have a bluegrass ensemble.
Oh yeah.
So here I am, and it's fantastic.
So y'all been doing did y'all do any chapels this year? Or?
We've already done 2, but we'll be doing 2 more. We'll lead chapel at Union. We're doing a performance over at a retirement village. It's called Alexandria Place in a couple of weeks. We have some upcoming concerts at school coming up, a commercial ensembles concert. From time to time, we will lead worship at a church. We led worship at Calvary Baptist last year.
Calvary Baptist.
Great group of musicians, teaching them bluegrass, and also, the point of ensembles in any school is not just to play, have a good time. It's also to grow the musicians. Give them songs that maybe challenge them a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Bluegrass can have some very, very, very challenging songs.
Oh yeah.
Very fast, a lot of picking, a lot of notes,
yeah.
right, a lot of complexity in there.
I just can't go out without saying that I tell you who's become a very good bluegrass guitar player and great vocals is Mr. Billy Strings. I hate to not mention him.
Oh no, he's up there. He's otherworldly.
Oh, yeah.
He knows so many songs, and
it's crazy.
Yeah.
He I didn't know who he was until someone told me, and I looked him up, and he's not just good vocals. He actually is just a trained guitar player.
Oh,
he's really phenomenal.
He's a master. I mean, he plays some very complicated. He's a phenomenal guitar player.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's become. I think he's kind of brought bluegrass music, not in a different way, but I think he kind of brought it back into the limelight in some way. In some way, he has. I think.
Yeah, and also to a younger generation. If you go to his concerts, there's a lot of young people there.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people.
He has that cool young guy thing on, and and sometimes he takes some of the bluegrass songs and changes them up a little bit and makes them relevant to some of the young people. And oh yeah, he's got a huge following.
Oh, he's definitely got a huge following, and I'm kind of jumping around
No,
here.
that's
So
fine.
okay, jump back to my question about favorite music artist you grew up on. So, what is your opinion about Alan Parsons? Because I know that you got to talk to Alan Parsons, right?
Yeah, well, a little bit. Mostly just sitting there watching him talk.
Watching him talk, but
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough, very blessed to be a part of several music educators, audio educator advisory boards, and one of the boards that I participate with is PSP AudioWare. They make PSP makes a lot of plugins, great plugins, so go buy them. But one of the plugins that they made was an adaptation of a box that they used. This box that was made by one of the engineers, I think at Abbey Road, that wobbled the sound a little bit, called a wobbler.
yeah.
And so PSP made a software version of this device, and Alan Parsons helped them do it.
And Alan Parsons, like we can talk. I could talk for days about Alan Parsons Party. They're probably one of the great duos of the 70s and 80s. They were very great.
Yeah, well, he was, producer, engineer, musician. Of course, he engineered Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd.
Oh yes, and that's why I wanted that's why I wanted to talk about Alan Parsons, because that's a little fact that not many people know about, right? About that particular record.
Oh.
It's a phenomenal album.
I think all the engineering folks certainly
New.
know, that all the special effects and all the interesting things he did on that record. Yeah, I think he also worked some as an assistant with the Beatles
Oh yeah.
at Abbey Road.
And Alan, the thing about Alan Parsons Project is it's not really the lyrics, but there was he had a very great style of engineering, right?
Oh, he is certainly, to be in that group with him I was just kind of watching. I was more enamored with the fact that here he is, Alan Parsons. I didn't want to bug him too much.
Oh yeah, and Alan Parsons Project is, I don't know if they do it in Detroit anymore, but they were probably one of the top experimental rock bands. Now tell me the story, but tell me this, what do you think is Bruce Springsteen, which is not my favorite singer, but what do you think is your favorite Bruce Springsteen album, which you told me about?
Born in the USA.
Born in the USA.
I don't know. There's a lot of great albums before that.
But yeah.
I know that, and I'll probably get some comments about saying that. But he has great records before that. Great records. I just like, of course, and when that album came out, it was 83, 84. I was in high school. I hadn't really heard a lot of the great older stuff. I heard some of it, like Born to Run and all that's great. I just like the way that album sounds. It just sounds big.
Oh yeah, and Bruce Springsteen had an album come out after Born in the USA, which I'll be doing a discussion. Turn on Love. I'll be doing a discussion about that in the coming weekends, which that is a phenomenal album.
It is.
But I tell you, one of my albums that I have Bruce Springsteen is Nebraska, and I've heard that's a very, not weird, but it's a very different.
Yeah, it is. It's just a different thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but no, I think Turn on Love is a good album, great album too. Born in the USA, I think, at least, I'm not I'm not an expert on Brice's career.
No.
I've certainly watched him and heard his music, but in my mind, when I think about the Born in the USA, the record, the tour, it seems like that was kind of like a mountaintop. Those tours, and I saw him live.
Oh yeah, you told him. Yeah.
We snuck in, we didn't sneak in, we were allowed in for free.
Yeah.
He played in 1984, he did a Born in the USA tour, came to Middle Tennessee State. And the Murphy Center there is all glassed in,
Yeah.
dark glass, and me and my buddies were kind of watching through the glass,
Yeah.
And the security guard said, "Y'all gonna come in?" And we're like, "Well, yeah."
Yeah, and Bruce Springsteen, even though I'm not too big a fan of him, but I like his music, but he's a very good guitar player. I think he's kind of underrated in some
Yeah,
way.
he was actually in a metal band.
Really?
Look it
I didn't know that.
Look it up.
Metal band. Oh, wow.
I think it was on Steel Wheels.
Steel Wheels.
I think
Now,
that's what they were called.
now let me I'm kind of jumping back.
That's fine.
That's for no. What is your opinion about Emerson, Lake and Palmer? You can't go without saying Emerson, Lake and Palmer were good, right?
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah. Who was the keyboard player? He was a great keyboard player.
See, you're gonna get me caught me in the spot here. You get Carl Palmer, Keith Emerson, and Greg Lake.
Yeah.
I think Keith Emerson was the keyboard player.
Yeah, and they were.
Your watchers can.
Maybe walkers can do it. But Emerson, Lake and Palmer were a really good band, and I don't think they do much anymore as much as the other experimental bands. But I tell you this, Pink Floyd is just phenomenal. Last weekend I did the one about the wall, which is great. Which Pink Floyd, did you see that David Gilmour is doing a new, not a new album, but like a concert tour of his daughter or something? Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's coming up with a new album, yeah. Now, which Dark Side of the Moon changed you. How did it change you when you listened to that?
Which album?
Dark Side of the Moon, how did that change
Well,
you?
I'll tell you what. Yeah, well, when I was growing up, a lot of us, I'm sure people my age, will attest to this. We had stereos at home. We had a stereo system. We had like a amplifier and a receiver and a phonograph record and headphones, and I would lay in my bedroom and turn off the lights and listen to all of these, like the clocks, beginning of.
Oh yeah, the beginning of time, right? The song, yeah.
No, I mean it was just, it sounded so clear and so good, and then I love Money and all those songs and
honestly, Pink Floyd, which I hate to say I'm going to mention my neighbor again. He's a big Pink Floyd fan, and he thinks Dark Side of the Moon was probably one of the greatest albums of all time. And you go to their like '90s. They did the song "High Hopes." Was that this '90s song they did? There's one album and it's like a cover and it's like a statue or something.
Yeah, that's when. Yeah, that was the later rendition of Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd,
Gilmour and those guys.
Yeah, which who do you think did better? Because the first frontman, he died. Did he die?
Yeah.
And the Beatles. So who do you think did better? Because when they first started, it was kind of like they had like just small albums and not a lot of songs. But when Gilmour joined, it was a lot more albums, right?
Yeah, Gilmour probably brought a little bit of
more of a.
Well, conventionally, I'm not going to use conventional because he's not. It's hard to say. He probably brought balance to the artsy, and then you had the rock feel.
Oh, the rock feel. And honestly, Pink Floyd is a very unique band.
Oh yeah.
And the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. That album is a fantastic album. And the Beatles were kind of, I think when they started doing cover albums, they kind of fell off and they kind of got back on top towards the middle. Like, what do you think about?
Oh, you think about the Beatles' career as the Beatles. They weren't here. The band wasn't around very long.
Oh, they weren't. They didn't know.
But look at where they started as those 14 teen guys who were doing the real dun 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 dun. Real bouncy, happy love songs.
Well, I would call it kind of like the Britpop.
Exactly.
Britpop. Yeah.
And then we'll look at their last album.
Yeah. What was their last time? I can't remember.
Oh gosh, help me out. They had Revolver. They had.
You have Abbey Road, 69.
And you had, of course, you
had Rubber Soul.
Yeah.
Rubber Soul. Yeah.
But go compare those two albums.
Oh yeah, and it's just
now. Granted, technology changed too.
In those years.
And remember, technology has a big impact on what the music that you hear, because as technology gives us more things that we can go do, the music's going to change, right? So they were but the Beatles were way ahead of themselves. They took very limited tracks, very limited technology, which, Abbey Road was a fantastic studio.
Abbey Road was a very unique album. It's probably one of the greatest albums ever. But I tell you this, I tell you the most great guitar player that's underrated. My neighbor thinks so is Lindsey Buckingham. What do you think about that? Was he under?
He's well known. I mean, he plays with it.
Plays with that kind of
very
different, authentic.
Different. Cool thing about Lindsey is that he is his own style. If you hear Lindsey Buckingham, you know who it is.
Oh yeah, and if you hear his vocals, it's good too. Now there's another album. Well, what was it called? So when was the first time you heard Billy Joel? Which I've been listening to Billy Joel for a while.
Oh, I can't think of the first time, but it was when I was in early high school.
The Stranger album was really good.
Yeah, I think the first song of his I heard was probably Piano Man.
Oh yeah,
because I used to listen to a lot of AM radio as a kid, and they would play. I'm not sure this was the same time frame, but back when I was a younger kid, radio played everything. You just didn't hear country or rock. Like if you listen to WLS in Chicago at night, it only came through at night here. You hear everything from Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Oh yeah.
Al Smith to John Denver to Kiss, and it could be in that order.
Oh yes.
And so you heard everything, right? I think I was listening to a radio station once, similar to WLS format, and I heard Piano Man.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's a cool song.
And then Billy Joel, which he has brain, he has some health issue now, but he's kind of the man I think that got in the '80s, and he didn't do like the heavy rock. He did rock, but he kind of brought some musical styles back that were lost, like doo-wop. He did some doo-wop. He did some of that. He kind of did some of that '60s sound, which that wasn't heard of in the '80s. When he came, it was like he totally broke the walls down.
Big hit.
Oh yeah,
because he established himself as a great artist.
Oh yeah,
and he was at that point to where, plus he's a great musician, a great singer.
Oh yeah,
he can pull probably anything off that he wants.
Which, Billy Joel is phenomenal, but I hate to say it, but we lost him several years ago, and I hate not to mention it in this video, but Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh yeah.
He was a phenomenal, and it's crazy that his guitar work, and if you can only read my mind, is such a phenomenal.
It's amazing when we hear people like him and others who sing, well, you don't realize that, like Phil Collins, for example.
Yes, I like
Phil Collins is a great singer. People think about Phil Collins as being Phil Collins. But if you listen to the old Genesis or listen to Brand X, some of that fusion jazz stuff that he plays drums on, it's insane. It's off the charts.
It's off the charts. And there's another singer, Dan Fogelberg. Now he's really good. Now he has a very folksy sound to it. Now, you think, we've talked about him before, just me and you, but what do you think about him? He's a very great vocalist, singer, lyricist,
Oh, great guitar player.
Oh yeah, great guitar player.
Great singer, great songwriter. One of those guys again, like a Billy Joel, or who can play and sing and write. And I think it's important as young musicians come into the business that they are able to do all those things.
Oh, yeah.
You can offer so much. I can either write a song for you, or I can sing a song for you. I can maybe record a song for you. I can play on your record. I can play on my own records. When you have multiple skill sets, you're just adding so much more value to what you can bring.
Oh yeah, and songwriters, people went on about how people got criticism to Elvis that he didn't always write songs with other people. But I think Elvis Presley is a great example of how he just came about, and Colonel Parker sounded him, and just all the stuff happened in a way that it just blew up the whole music industry,
Yeah, and to your point about he didn't write his own songs, I think, for a long period of time in Nashville, a lot of the artists did write their own songs.
Oh yeah.
And so that gave way to the music publishing business, because now songwriters can send songs to the artists, they can make a living.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, they make
publishers, and then artists can great songs.
All the years have come by, but I'm not a big fan of this band. I may get into this one, I don't know. But Led Zeppelin guitar player Jimmy Page. Now he, to me, is a great guitar player. But John Bonham, we sadly lost him, but I think he was right up there with some of the great rock drummers.
Well, yeah, he's John Bonham.
John Bonham. Yeah.
He influenced so many other drummers who can point back to him as You know, again, John Bonham could play multiple styles. It wasn't just the do do da. You know, he had some jazz chops.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was an accomplished drummer.
Yeah, and you know, some people say probably one of the greatest Led Zeppelin songs ever, and it's my neighbor's favorite too, which he's played guitar on it, is trying to play guitar part is Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
Stairway to Heaven is a great one, and you know, Led Zeppelin, I don't know if they're turning anymore, but Led Zeppelin kind of pioneered the heavy metal, what do you think? Or just the hard rock-ish?
They certainly had an impact. I think.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the first album I think came out in '69 or '70, wasn't it right?
Mm-hmm.
And you had Days of Confused on there.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think Days of Confused was one of those songs that kind of set the tone for subsequent hard rock metal bands with that spooky sound.
Oh yeah, and you know, all the bands, you know. Okay, so let's talk about a guitar player that Tim Smith knows, Steve Lufren from Toto. Now, Steve Lufren is to me kind of not really underrated, but he's probably one of the great '80s guitar players. What do you think he is?
Again, you got all these iconic people.
Oh yeah.
He's
Oh yeah.
so much you could say about all these people.
Oh yeah, and you know,
Lukather has played on, and again, you know, we think about Toto, right? You know, Africa and Roseanne, all those great songs,
and
right?
there was something, I'll Be Over You.
I'll Be Over You, all those great songs. All those songs unto themselves. I mean, who doesn't know Da Da Da?
Oh yeah.
You know, and so, but that's only just a small piece. He's played on so many albums.
And I did not,
Jackson,
and I did not know this until my neighbor told me this years ago. I was like, you don't know who plays the guitar part in Human Nature? Steve Lufren from Toto. I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And he told me that years ago, and I remember him playing something. That's Steve Lufren. Like, I didn't even know. I didn't know that Toto did more
I mean,
guitar.
some artists back then would use the whole band. I mean, it wouldn't be uncommon to have Jeff Caro and Lukather, Lukather, and some of the others, like, for example, Boss Skaggs, you know. A lot of bands, a lot of artists, which go get them and play their record.
Which I hate to say, but which we lost Jeff Picaro, right?
Unfortunately, in the 90s.
we did lose him, but he was a phenomenal drummer. And you know, Toto is still touring to this day, and they're doing a lot of great music. And you know, and I tell you, who's a very good bass guitar player is a band called Primus.
Oh yeah,
yeah, Primus from the '90s. Les Claypool. He's good. Now their music is a little weird.
They're different.
They're different, but they're a phenomenal bass guitar player.
Okay,
now, if you could think of so I know your main guitar is acoustic, right? Or is it electric? Or is it
I mean, I probably play the acoustic more than I play the electric.
Yeah.
But I do also record in my home for people, and I do all of it.
Oh yeah.
I do, but at school it's mostly like acoustic and bluegrass stuff.
Now, what was I going to say? So, if you could pick your favorite acoustic player from one of the old decades of music, which one would it be?
From what genre of music?
You're going genre, more like folk Americana. You know, folk Americana music. You know,
would bluegrass count in that?
The bluegrass. Yeah.
It'd probably be Tony Rice.
Tony Rice. Okay, so he's a bluegrass.
He is. Tony Rice is probably the bluegrass guitar player.
He is.
I say that. Other people would say no. It's somebody else. Tony Rice. He's also passed away too. But from the bluegrass standpoint, Tony Rice is kind of like the. He's one of those pinnacle, those pillars.
Pillars.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Oh yeah, and you know, honestly, talking about different sounds of music, you know, it was incredible for Phil Spector. You know, Wall of Sound he did in the '50s, which I think he kind of got a little crazy later on, but he was a phenomenal music producer, which he produced. He didn't produce the Beach Boys, didn't know that was the Wrecking Crew, but
right.
The Crystals and all those were some of the big bands he did. He produced a lot of them.
Oh, he did. He was, from a producer standpoint and a music business guy, he was certainly a big player.
Yeah, and you know, the Wall of Sound, which he did incredible, and the Wrecking Crew. Talk about them for
Hal Blaine and all those guys.
And what was the bass guitar player for?
Okay.
And it's crazy to think that she played not just on lyrical, but she did a lot of instrumentals too that were crazy.
Back then in the 60s, those instrumentals would be on the radio.
Oh yeah.
It's good. He hit singles.
Oh yeah.
With no singing at all.
No singing at all. So we're about to wrap up this interview, but one more thing is we're gonna go in the other room, and Bob Mayo is gonna play one of his favorite songs. He grew up on the drum set, so
Parts of it, yeah.
parts of it, yeah. Okay, this is the last part of Brice's Beats today. Interview with Bob Mayo. He's gonna play a little bit from what was the song?
Red Barchetta.
He's gonna play one of his favorites, Red Barchetta by Rush, some parts of it. And after that, I'll be closing it. It's been a good interview. There you go.
Thank you, Brice. Just some background on this song. As I mentioned earlier in the interview, I was a big fan of Rush, and I still am. Growing up as a young musician, it was really fun to try to learn. The parts are very difficult on their songs, right? But it helped me to be a better musician. This song is special because also my oldest son, Brandon, he loved this song, and we both love this song. And so I thought I'd do a couple of my favorite parts of the song. It's kind of a long song, so I'm going to play some parts of it. Like the beginning of it, he's doing this like a little high thing, you know? Where he goes up, he gets kind of.
That is good for this is Brice's Beats. That was Bob Mayo playing his parts from Red Barchetta by Rush. Thank you for tuning in to Brice's Beats interview with Bob Mayo. It's been a very good interview and a very good video. Next weekend I'll be talking about Eternal Love by Bruce Springsteen. Have y'all a good day, and I'll see y'all next weekend. Bye.